Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Women in International Trade's Evening with the Stars. My name is Emily Beeline, and I am the president of the Women in International Trade Association, and your proud MC for this evening's festivities. We're here tonight on one of WIIT's biggest nights of the year to recognize, honor, and award some amazing women in the trade space who have contributed to advancing women in trade, not just for the past year, but over the course of their entire careers. As was the case last year, this year's events are fully virtual, but that doesn't mean we can't sit back and relax, have a cocktail or a mocktail, and enjoy each other's company. I do hope you're all appreciating your swag bag of goodies provided by WIIT. Special thanks to Chouquette's for the chocolates, Little Fishy Designs for the awesome tote bags, and of course, Republic Restoratives for the kits and the booze, or in my case, booze substitute. As a preview for tonight, between the segments where WIIT will honor some amazing women, we're all going to learn a little bit about the magic of mixology from Emily Filkins from Republic Restoratives. WIIT's social media team will be live tweeting the event tonight. So if you would like to engage with WIIT or with any of our corporate members, board members, or winners from tonight's festivities, please follow at WIIT_DC and tag us at #WIITAwards2021. Please use the chat function to engage with others here tonight. In lieu of not being in person, we're hoping to make this a really community-focused event. Keep your cameras on if you feel comfortable, cheer for our awardees, and heckle me mercilessly. I'm so grateful to our team for organizing all of the moving parts that went into planning and executing tonight's event. The hope is that it all runs smoothly, but a year and a half into a mostly virtual life, I think we all know that hiccups can happen. So let's be patient with us, please. I hope to see at least one cat walk across someone's keyboard. And with that, on with the show. Emily, over to you to educate us on how to dazzle friends, family, or nemesis with a classic old-fashioned.
Thank you so much. I can promise there will be no cats walking through my part tonight. I promise. Hopefully no distillery cats. Thanks for having me again. My name is Emily. I work here at Republic Restoratives, mainly doing sales, but also love doing these online classes and events. Tonight we're going to make two very classic cocktails. We're actually going to start with the Manhattan. Just the simpler of the two, I suppose. So you're going to want to need your bourbon, your sweet vermouth, your bitters, your cocktail glass of choice. I always like to drink my Manhattans up, which means not on the rocks in a stamped glass. I just feel a little extra fancy, particularly in the last year and a half of drinking at home. Why not use the fun things you have, right? We're going to be stirring this cocktail. So I obviously have like very professional barware, but if you don't have these things, that's totally fine. I'm assuming you're either at home or in an office, or sometimes like me, you're on a phone call in a car, so drinking and driving. So what we need, what I have, and I'll offer you some alternatives, is we're going to need a mixing glass. This is just a very simple, like standard barware. If you don't have that, maybe you have a pint glass. You could also maybe even make this cocktail straight in the glass you're going to drink from, but just make sure that there's enough space in that. Because we only have a few ingredients for this cocktail, we want the measurements to be really specific so the cocktail is really nicely well balanced. So I do have a cocktail measure here, a jigger. If you don't have a cocktail jigger at home, I do know that a tablespoon is roughly equal to half an ounce. So if you're really good with math, you can do that really quickly, then I highly encourage that. You can also eyeball it. No one's judging you. This is a very safe space. But if you want that nice balance, I would recommend measuring. You definitely want something to strain the ice out when we go to pour our cocktail in our glassware. This is just a normal Hawthorne strainer. If you don't have something like that, like use your hands, use a spoon, use anything that you have nearby that you don't mind getting a little whiskey on. And then obviously your garnish. So we have these really great Luxardo cherries. Some of you might have gotten these. If you didn't, no worries. You can also drink a Manhattan ungarnished. It's not the end of the world. And of course, ice. So we need ice because we're going to dilute the cocktail. We're going to chill the cocktail. Ice is super important. So let's start. Let's get cracking because this is a celebration. So the first thing we want to do is add the least expensive item. This is good for any home bartending tip. Always start with the least expensive thing that you feel the least terrible about throwing out if you somehow mess this up. So we're just going to start with the bitters because all of these are really great. These are probably the thing that I would cry the least about if I lost. So these are the embitterment bitters. Traditionally in Manhattan is Angostura bitters, which is really heavy, like cinnamon and like spice heavy. This has a more subtle herbaceous quality, like a root quality. I don't know if that's a very like anti-specific way to describe it, but like more earthy tones. There's some really subtle vanilla in here, which is really nice too. That'll be nice with the bourbon. So 3 to 4 dashes should be plenty. You can always add a couple extra dashes once you taste your cocktail. You can always go back and try to fix it a little bit. So we'll just do 4 little dashes. Now your bottle actually comes with a built-in dasher. It's a little piece of plastic that kind of helps, not incredibly specifically, mostly helps you keep it pretty organized. And then we're gonna get our sweet vermouth. So sweet vermouth is just a fortified wine with herbs and spices. You want to refrigerate this after opening. It will go bad eventually, not tomorrow, not the next day, maybe in a couple months if you leave it out. So we're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. This is Carpano Antica. This is really nice Italian sweet vermouth that I have. Luckily, we get the good stuff here at the distillery. So we've got our bitters and our sweet vermouth. And we want to add the star of the show, the bourbon, obviously. So this is Burrow Bourbon. So this is a bourbon that we rest in Armagnac barrels for about a month. So that adds kind of a sweeter, almost like fruity quality. So we're going to do 2 ounces of that. And again, if you don't have a specific measuring jigger, if you can kind of roughly equate, whatever liquid measure or tool you're using. Before we add ice and we stir, it should come out to about 2 3/4 liquid. So we're going to add ice because we want to stir the cocktail so we can not only chill it, but we can dilute it and blend the ingredients together to make a more perfect cocktail. Again, I have the luxury of having a professional ice maker like 2 feet over here, but if you just want to use the ice that you crack out of your plastic ice molds in your fridge, that's totally fine. If you can use filtered water, I know it's a little bougie, but if you can use filtered water, that'll only help the cocktail taste that much better. Just like little things. I'm gonna add a little more ice. So for this container, it's not a big stir. So I usually add ice about halfway up because we want to give the cocktail room to grow. Basically what that means is as we're stirring, we're adding heat to the cocktail. So the ice will melt, the liquid will start to rise. And I know I have an exceptionally long spoon. The idea about diluting a cocktail and chilling it is that we don't want to add any extra heat. So my hand being really close to this or holding the glass yare, we're just adding extra heat to it. So we just want to add the right amount of dilution. We're just going to stir it. If you don't have a proper cocktail spoon at home, you could literally use the spoon you ate your cereal with this morning. Hopefully you washed it. Literally anything that will just rotate the ice and the liquid. You can use your finger. You could do that too. So we're gonna stir it. That's probably enough. Usually I say 30 seconds or 30 revolutions, or until you can start to see the ice really drastically melt. So if you were sitting at my bar, which eventually we'll be able to have folks back in here, this glass will be coming out of a chiller, so it'll be perfectly chilled, ready to add this beautiful handcrafted cocktail straight into this glass. Now, obviously this is not chilled, but again, any little thing you can do to create a little more bougie cocktail experience for yourself, you should totally do it. All right, now we're gonna garnish. So these cocktail cherries, these are Luxardo cherries. So they are basically drowned in cherry liqueur. So we're just gonna add a little more booze too, because come on, why not? So I like to do a few. And then again, if you were sitting at my bar, I would dunk these right into the cocktail so they just continue to kind of infuse a little additional sweetness. We'll stir some of that syrup to come off the cherries. Okay. So hopefully, I wasn't really looking at the group. Hopefully there are some people that made it. If I went way too fast, please let me know. Put it in the group chat. I'm going to review after we move on to the next segment. I see somebody holding up a cocktail. Jennifer Hillman. Brenda, Jennifer, lovely. Now I'm just going to ask, did anybody have issues with that cocktail? Raise your hand. Anybody think this is the most delicious thing you've ever consumed? Raise your hand. I think so too. Nice to see the majority. I do have about 2 minutes. So if anybody has a question, thoughts?
Manhattans are one of my very favorite cocktails. Emily, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Delicious.
Yeah, these are, you can drink them neat or on the rocks, well, up or on the rocks. If you're gonna drink this cocktail on the rocks, I highly recommend one of those large, like when you go to a cocktail bar and you see big slow melting cubes, that's a really great way to drink a cocktail as well. We'll kind of get more into that for the next segment. But for now, I hope you enjoy your Manhattan. And cheers.
Cheers indeed. I am fortunate enough to have had the mocktail kit. So I will have to wait until I have my actual cocktail. That's
sorry, really quickly. Sorry, I apologize. Those of you, there are some folks that are not drinking. So you have this really great WIIT non-alcoholic drink mixer. So obviously all the information is on the side, but you can add soda water to this. This has got lime, cucumber, really fresh, really nice. If you wanted to spike it, I know some of you have vodka as well. That would also work. Highly encourage playing around. But the WIIT is a really nice cocktail substitute. Yes, thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I added club soda. I chopped up my own little cucumber for a garnish. It's working just fine, and it's staying nice and cool in my amazing WIIT mug. That's
fabulous. I see some of you asking about the recipe. Sorry, yeah, I'll throw the recipe in the chat and then back to you guys.
Thanks again, Emily. You make Emily's everywhere proud. Up next, WIIT board member and executive director of the U.S.-Japan Business Council, Aiko Lane, to present the Outstanding Woman of the Year Award. Aiko?
Thank you. Thanks so much. So it is my distinct pleasure to be with you all tonight, and I am especially delighted to present this year's Outstanding Woman of the Year Award to my dear friend and former colleague, U.S. Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy. Congresswoman Murphy represents Florida's 7th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. This district includes all of Seminole County and much of Northern Orange County, including downtown Orlando. In her first term in office, she served on the House Small Business Committee and the House Armed Services Committee. In her second term, she served exclusively on the House Ways and Means Committee, and she still does, where she is a member of the Subcommittee on Trade and the Subcommittee on Worker and Family Support. One of the reasons why I cannot think of anyone more deserving of this distinction of Outstanding Woman of the Year is because Congresswoman Murphy is the only Florida Democrat and one of only about 25 women in history to have served on the prestigious Ways and Means Committee. Florida's economy is highly dependent on trade in goods and services, with trade supporting nearly 1 in 5 jobs in the state, and she has carved out a reputation as one of the leading voices on trade on Capitol Hill. In addition, Congresswoman Murphy serves on the House Armed Services Committee as co-chair of the Blue Dog Coalition, as a chief deputy whip of the House Democratic Majority. And before her election to Congress, Congresswoman Murphy was a businesswoman and college instructor. She also served as a national security specialist in the Office of the U.S. Secretary of Defense and as a strategy consultant at Deloitte Consulting. Congresswoman Murphy has been a vocal supporter of free trade, to include advocating for the U.S. to join the Trans-Pacific Partnership Multilateral Trade Agreement, now known as CPTPP. For example, she recently penned an op-ed with her colleagues on the Hill, Representative Adam Kinzinger, as well as Senators Tom Carver and John Cornyn, urging USTR to rethink TPP withdrawal. There are countless other examples, but without further ado, I'd now like to turn your attention to a video message from Orit Frankel.
Hi, this is Orit Frankel with the American Leadership Initiative. I wanted to congratulate Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy for receiving WIIT's Outstanding Woman of the Year Award. You couldn't have picked a better recipient. The Congresswoman is just an outstanding leader on trade and U.S. global leadership. We really count on her for that leadership on the Hill and know that she will continue it in years going forward.
Thank you. And now can everyone join me in a round of applause to congratulate Congresswoman Murphy for Outstanding Woman of the Year Award. Congresswoman Murphy?
Great, thanks so much, Aiko. Well, it's so good to be here tonight with you all. Thank you all so much. I want to thank the Women in International Trade for this award. It's really a tremendous honor, and I'm deeply grateful to you all. And I really wish we could be celebrating together in person, but I think making a virtual cocktail works just as well in these Zoom days. I also want to just take a moment and congratulate my co-honorees this evening, including Jennifer Hillman, who is receiving your Lifetime Achievement Award. I admire Jennifer so very much and have come to really value her counsel. And she's just been a great resource. And so it's a real honor to be with her tonight. I also can't tell you how happy I am to have been introduced by Aiko Lane. You know, in Washington, it's really common, and especially in Congress, it's really common to refer to someone as my good friend, even if you barely know that person or can't stand them. That's just the nature of Washington. But Aiko is, in fact, my very close friend and a former colleague at the Department of Defense in the early 2000s. And she's someone that I have so much respect for and a deep affection for her and her family. And so being introduced by Aiko is really special for me. And, you know, I have to confess, tonight's event is a bit of a ray of bright light in a fairly dim moment. And I think it's just so reassuring to be reminded that there's a community of people out there, and in this case, a community of smart, thoughtful, experienced women who don't view trade as a four-letter word. And it's been no secret that the last few years have been especially difficult for people like me, and I imagine like many of you, who are proud and unashamed to call themselves pro-trade. You know, it's been tough for folks like us, policymakers and practitioners who don't view trade in goods and services as a panacea that solves all of our problems, but who do believe that increased trade is vital to advancing America's economic and foreign policy interests. And so it's been a distressing time for those of us who are skeptical of political leaders on both the right and the left, who resort to populist rhetoric and protectionist actions, and in doing so, often end up hurting the very American workers and businesses that they purport to be fighting for. So tonight is the celebration, and I'm excited to be celebrating with you all, but I also hope it's a call to action. I think it's critically important for people like us to not give up and to push back against increasingly conventional wisdom and the standard narratives around trade when they're misguided, as they so often are these days. You know, we have to keep making an affirmative case for good, smart, forward-leaning trade policies. And our case for trade should center on the American worker. You know, I think in contrast to the simplistic argument that's advanced by trade critics, trade helps far more workers than it hurts. And expanding the export of goods and services supports good jobs, and it strengthens the middle class here in America. And of course, workers are also consumers, and foreign imports increases their choices, and it reduces prices for American families who right now are really concerned about inflation. And I think as the last few years have made painfully clear, American workers, firms, and consumers bear a heavy economic burden when our government imposes tariffs on imports and foreign governments then inevitably impose retaliatory tariffs on our exports. In particular, I think Section 232 and Section 301 tariffs put in place under the Trump administration and then maintained under the Biden administration have done really very little to change China's unfair trade and investment practices, and have angered and alienated the very allies we need in our corner to effectively influence Beijing's behavior. And so working to enhance trade is something that we should not delay or defer until after the pandemic subsides, as the Biden administration has indicated is their approach. I mean, I think to the contrary, Trade is a tool that we can use right now to help workers and businesses build back better, so to speak. And beyond its economic benefits, trade promotes our national security. Aiko and I worked as national security specialists at the Department of Defense, and now I serve on the House Armed Services Committee. And those of us in foreign policy or who work in that world, we're really fond of talking about the importance of the 3Ds. So defense, diplomacy, and development aid as key elements of our toolbox for advancing American foreign policy goals. But I always want to add a fourth D to that list, and that's deals. Other advanced economies, both our allies and our adversaries, are taking the initiative to craft new trade deals. While we sit stagnant, we are missing opportunity after opportunity to increase our influence and promote our values in critical regions of the world. Withdrawal from TPP is the ultimate case in point. It was a geostrategic mistake of the highest order at a time when everyone is trying to talk tough on China. And so while I want to have a lot of fun tonight, I think we also should keep fighting the good fight together. It's a battle worth waging, and it's a battle worth winning. So thank you all again for this wonderful honor, for all that you do in the trade space, and I hope you have a great evening. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Representative Murphy. Powerful words, and ones that I know resonate with this group. Former WIIT President Lisa Schroeder just put in the chat, and I couldn't agree more. One thing about WIIT and its members and its events, we support calls for action. We don't just say, we do. So that's timely words, and thank you so much. Next up, I get to introduce myself. Brenda Brockman-Smith is tonight's winner of the Government Service Award. I had the pleasure of working at U.S. Customs and Border Protection during Brenda's tenure, and I can happily attest to that her public-facing presence, one that is hardworking, intelligent, and thoughtful, is absolutely true, and also the case behind closed doors or when a camera is not on her. Brenda's commitment to public service and leadership is nearly unparalleled in Washington, having celebrated 34 years with the government this past spring. Brenda brought to the executive branch her perspective from her time on Capitol Hill and later the Treasury Department. She was in the trenches in the automated commercial environment with ACE Business Office, and she saw firsthand the complexities and competing interests found in regulating a global value chain during her time as the Director of Policy and Programs with the Office of International Affairs and Trade Relations. In the before times, at industry events or luncheons or meetings, I would often gravitate to Brenda. I knew I would get a kind word and a nice conversation, which is not to say that she isn't tenacious in her advocacy and positioning when she represented the US government, because occasionally I found myself on the opposite side of the table as her and her team. CBP, as we all well know, is formidable. Before the floor is officially handed over to Brenda, tonight's winner, a few more people would like to add in their words of congratulations.
Hey, Brenda, we miss you at CVP. I have to tell you that our whiteboarding exercises are a lot less exciting without you here, but we wanted to congratulate you on your Government Service Award. Wish you all the best luck in your new endeavors, and we really look forward to seeing you in the future. Take care, Brenda.
Hello. On behalf of the American Association of Exporters and Importers, we congratulate you, Brenda, for receiving the WIIT Government Service Award. Keep up the good work. When are you going to come out of retirement? We need you back here. It's 21st Century Customs. Come back. We need you back. Congratulations, Brenda, and we hope to see you soon. Take care.
Hello, Brenda. Let me forward my warmest congratulations on your receiving the WIIT Government Service Award. That you rose to the highest leadership level in U.S. Customs and Border Protection, despite the fact that you had to work for me on 2 different occasions, is a real testament to your enormous talents and professionalism. Your accomplishments are too numerous to list.
You are on video.
But the one I find the most outstanding is that you were able to finish the ACE computer modernization project after several of your predecessors had failed, and they all happened to be men. I want to thank you again for the time that we worked together and wish you all the best in the future.
Emily, thank you. And thank you so much for all of those very kind words. It's really an honor to receive the Government Service Award because I know that it represents the work of not only Customs and Border Protection, but of many, many government employees, public servants that work hard every day to support the economy. And being recognized by WIIT, which I joined, I have to say, in the early 1990s, maybe as far back, well, we'll just leave it there, at the early 1990s. And it has been a tremendous support to me throughout my career, beginning from being able to take on leadership roles, to learning my craft, particularly the nuances of it, and most importantly, I think, allowing me to grow a community and to make good friends. There are many organizations that look to support networking or training, but I think WIIT's success in that area comes from the combination of leading, thinking, and growing our community. It is really dependent on the energy and the enthusiasm of WIIT's members, and we can see that just in the folks that are attending this evening. I think it's also importantly, and really as a complimentary message to Congresswoman Murphy's message, really recognizes the importance of the collaboration between the public sector and the private sector, which I think is absolutely critical to the good practice of trade. Part of successful trade is really to support the collaboration and the conversation about how trade really works, and to share the perspectives, the diverse skills, and the diverse expertise that we bring to the table at WIIT. I think WIIT providing a forum for that exchange of views goes to that good, smart, forward-leaning trade that we just spoke about. And I'm really proud of WIIT for leading the way on those conversations and making sure that the collaboration, the expertise is brought to supporting the US economy. Thank you so much for recognizing the service. Thank you also for the support from the WIIT membership. And I congratulate all of the awardees, but also all of you that work hard every day to support the trade and the economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brenda, and congratulations again. Barbara Wiesel, VP of Professional Development for WIIT and Managing Director for Rock Creek Advisors, is up next with the Business Legacy of the Year Award. Barbara?
I have to unmute there. Thanks. It's good evening to everybody, and it's really good to see everyone, even if only on the screen. It's my great honor to introduce Rosa Whitaker, who WIIT honors tonight with the Business Legacy Award. Rosa, or Lady Rosa Whitaker, as I know she is known by some, is the president and CEO of the Whitaker Group, an advisory firm specializing in African trade and investment opportunities, which Rosa began after leaving her illustrious career at USTR. At USTR, Rosa was the very first ouster of the Office of African Affairs. She came to USTR after having worked as a career foreign service officer and then working on the Hill as a senior trade advisor to Congressman Charles Rangel. There, Rosa helped create the concept of AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, while working on the Hill. And she has been called by some the mother of AGOA. She used her position at USTR to help ensure AGOA was successfully implemented. And then she built seamlessly on her experiences both at USTR and her previous government experience to establish a company that ensured that businesses could take advantage of the opportunities created by AGOA and mobilize the finance to help develop infrastructure across the continent. Rosa, you have had incredible success since leaving USTR 18 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long. Building a respected enterprise and gaining wide recognition for your efforts to promote prosperity across Africa. We are awed by your government and business achievements and your impact on development in Africa. But I don't want this opportunity to pass without telling you a couple things. First, someone needs to correct your Wikipedia page, which lists your age as 83. Very good for an 83-year-old. But more importantly, to tell you of the huge influence you have had on the many women with whom you have worked over the years, including at USTR, but also on the Hill and at the State Department. I am one of those women. During your tenure, I was a junior negotiator watching a more experienced and senior negotiator try to shape trade policy. You probably had no idea who I was. You were a force of nature with a unique vision that deeply impressed and motivated me and countless other women with whom you worked, including many of you who are joining us tonight. Your passion, creativity, insight, and determination to do whatever was necessary to overcome whatever obstacles arose to advance the goal of enhancing U.S.-African trade and economic relations were truly inspirational, as were the joy and fulfillment you clearly found in your mission. You were and you remain a role model to many, and I hope that is a source of pride to you as well. Congratulations on receiving the Business Legacy Award, Rosa. And now let me turn your attention to this video tribute, which will help you all further understand why many of us have been so inspired by Rosa and just why we see her as a role model.
Rosa is one of the nation's leaders when it comes to the question of Africa. I had heard so much about her legacy and the history of Africa policy that is forward-thinking, that views the continent as an opportunity. I viewed her then and I view her now as a mentor because she really set the stage to shift the focus in Congress toward a trade relationship.
Rosa is really about looking at the continent and saying that which is not even spoken yet.
Where I
being able to understanding that the continent of Africa may appear to be a paradox, but that the real thing is that it's a continent that will become. And so all of Rosa's work has been about Africa becoming. The WIIT group was in a way a successor program to AGOA, driven by Rosa, shaped by Rosa, and the way that she made trade to become a real conversation within the policy environment of the continent by her sheer force of nature.
For Rosa, it's never been trade, not aid, because she realizes the need for both. That's why Rosa is on the board of directors of Mercy Ships.
Hello, Rosa Whitaker. Congratulations on being the Women in International Trade Business Legacy Award winner this year. Who could deserve this more than you, Rosa? You have been a trailblazer and a legacy maker for so long in so many ways, and an example to people like me. From your days on the Hill to being the mother of AGOA, to being the first Assistant U.S. Trade Representative for Africa, to successfully launching your Whitaker Group consulting business, and now even to being the head of a major media platform. I just am so impressed with you, think that you indeed have already made a legacy, and are just looking forward to hearing so much more and seeing so much more of what you're going to accomplish. Thank you so much. And again, congratulations on being the Women in International Trade Business Legacy Award winner.
Thank you so much. First, I want to thank Barbara, Emily, and all the members of WIIT. And Barbara, thank you for that so very generous and kind introduction. You also inspire me. And it's such a delight to join you tonight. And it's night for me because I'm joining you from Accra, Ghana. I am so honored to be recognized with this distinguished group of impactful leaders whose contributions continue to blaze trails for women currently and for those yet unborn, for women to come. And we all know that since its inception in 1987, WIIT has always been ahead of its time in demonstrating the very promise of women, not only to lead, but to also shape the global trade landscape. And we can see the example of these women, the honorees and the members of WIIT, these examples that are so rich, the pillars of success on trade in our community. And I think we can all agree that we are not where we need to be as women in trade. But fortunately, we are not where we were. Over the past 20 years, women-owned businesses around the world have more than doubled. Yet our work remains unfinished, our promise untapped. But the good news is that the global rise of the services sector, the digital economy, value chains are increasingly opening up new opportunities for women. Even those in the informal sector that are scattered all across the developing world. When we talked about action earlier, I was also thinking about the action that we must take to ensure that these women in the developing world also rise and also are counted. Our ambitions must be as high, and I would say even higher than our hopes. I want to thank you, WIIT. I want to thank you for breaking barriers for women. You are creating, and as so eloquently phrased by Robert Kennedy, you are creating ripples of hope that are now becoming great waves. I truly, truly appreciate this honor. I will always cherish it. And I really appreciate this community and the inspiration that you exude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rose. What inspiring words. Your influence on trade and the women who followed you is evident and really incredible. Thank you for mentioning all the reasons women in trade have to be proud and inspired, but also flagging that we cannot be complacent and we have a lot of work yet to do. Congratulations, heartfelt congratulations to you and for this award. Thank you for being with us tonight, particularly from overseas. Thank you. How is everyone feeling tonight? Are we feeling like our glasses are empty? Emily, back to you to make us smart on how to make a delicious old-fashioned this time.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone feeling a little bit warmer after that first cocktail, I'm thinking. I think we're ready for another one. I was sitting off to the side listening to the speeches and just kind of realizing how many inspirational and powerful women are part of this class. So since we have a couple extra minutes in this segment, I just wanted to touch base on sort of some of the inspirational women that are, leading here. Give you just a little bit more of information about who we are, kind of rush through at the beginning. So we're Republic Restoratives, like I said. We're DC's first woman-owned and operated distillery. There are maybe a handful of truly woman-owned and operated distilleries in the U.S., like maybe less than 10. Hopefully, that is a trend that we start to see going up. It's about time that we put our foot not just in the door, but kick the door wide open. That's why we love doing events like this, because it just feels all the more empowering and knows that we're heading in the right direction. We opened our doors to the public Mother's Day 2016, chose that date specifically to honor the women that led us to where we are now, our mothers or mother figures. We essentially are the brain/love child of two childhood lifelong best friends, Pia and Rachel. They both grew up in upstate New York. Kind of had this crazy dream. You sit around a campfire and you drink whiskey, you say some crazy things, and you basically never follow through on any of them, because that's what sitting around and chatting with your friends is about. You just kind of say crazy things, and the next day you're like, that was crazy, okay, bye, see you later. So they went on and had completely different lives. Pia and her wife settled on the East Coast, and Rachel and her wife settled on the West Coast, and kind of just forgot about this crazy idea. Flash forward to many years down the road. Pia is the former chief of staff to Gabrielle Giffords, and actually was supposed to be on stage the day that Gabby was shot. Scheduling error, she didn't make it, but that was sort of one of those gut check moments, like, what are we doing with our lives? Why aren't we doing the things that we say we're going to do? And so Pia called Rachel up and was like, crazy idea time, you got a minute? And so fast forward to 2016, we opened our doors to the first customers. I was not part of the team then. I joined the family about a year later. So again, fast forward to global pandemic, like, oh shoot, what are we gonna do? Is our business gonna survive? Well, we're resourceful. What does the community need? So on top of making like really great booze, shameless plug, check out our website. We started producing hand sanitizer. So just another sort of way that we've been like continually evolving as a team, as a family. And here we are now, again, like, I would never use the phrase post-pandemic, because we're just not there, but post like everyday heart attack. So we're here now sort of, again, trying to like work with the community and sort of figure out what the community needs, whether it be booze or like cocktail classes, or just like someone to email us and see if we could do something fun with them. But that's sort of like the origin of our company. Sorry, I just like prattled on for a second. We are the nation's largest crowdfunded distillery. So what that means basically is, when the co-founders went to the bank, sad news, apparently you need experience to have a bank invest in the crazy idea that you want. And since none of us had ever run a bar, owned a bar, run a distillery, owned a distillery, basically had nothing to do with the thing that we wanted to do, they said, like, not invest, which, like, totally get it, understood, heard. So what we did instead is we uploaded a 3-minute video to Indiegogo. Basically, Pia and Rachel sitting in lawn chairs in a gutted warehouse, dirt floors, like somebody's dog running around in the background. Who we are, this is what we want to do, like, please support us. We want to be a community space. Here's our goal. We wanted to raise $60,000 in the first 30 days. And we ended up raising $120,000 in the first 30 days, which was like very exciting and also very terrifying. And so we had to find a way to like come together and figure it out and make it happen. That's basically our origin story. Obviously, it's a little more nuanced than that, but I kind of wanted to just hit those bullet points. We're here in Ivy City. If anybody on this event is in DC, come see us. We're closed right now. Our bar is closed. We're not doing tours or tastings. We have a bottle shop open. Again, shameless plug, check out our website. Okay, done with that. But yeah, so we're going to, and also, by the way, if you have any questions for me, please stick them in the group chat. I did put the recipe to the Manhattan in the group chat. Sorry, it was all like multiple messages. I'm not very like Zoom able. So I will also put the recipe to this cocktail in the chat after we make this. And any other questions you might have, feel free to throw them in the group chat, and I will respond post next cocktail. Okay, enough talking. Let's get to drinking because this is a celebration. So we're gonna make an old fashioned. Very classic cocktail, simple ingredients. You should have everything with the exception of the garnish, which really is not the end of the world for this cocktail. The garnish for this cocktail is gonna be an orange peel. If you don't have an orange peel, it's not the end of the world. Please don't freak out. Don't rush to the fridge if you need something. If you have one, that's cool. Okay, so we're gonna need the bourbon again, obviously, the bitters, very essential, and then we need our sugar. So super easy cocktail. We're gonna be stirring it. So like last time we stirred our cocktail in a separate container, I'm just gonna build this right in the glass. And that's because we're muddling sugar cubes, and all of those sugar grains are gonna settle at the bottom. And every time you take a sip or you stir your cocktail, you're just kind of holding it, that sugar will continue to slowly dilute a little bit or dissolve. We build it in, like, for instance, if we build it in a pint glass, which we could, you would want to use simple syrup. That way you're not transferring, like, it's just the whole mess. So we're going to build it in this glass. So again, we're going to start with the least expensive. I don't like to use the word cheap. The least expensive ingredient. So that would probably be the sugar. So I know these are sugar cubes. So maybe find one that is not super big or looks like it's going to be too hard to smash. So I'm going to choose one that's a little broken up. I like my cocktails on the less sweet side, so I'm going to choose a smaller sugar cube. Now we're going to need to essentially muddle it, but we need something to help it along, to soften it. So we're going to use our bitters. The recipe cards, or the recipe in general, says 3 to 4 dashes of bitters. You're going to see me put a lot more than that in. Do what you like. I really like these bitters. So I'm going to aim for right into the sugar cube because we want to assist it in dissolving. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So I did 9 dashes, maybe a little extra, just for even numbers. Now I mentioned muddling. Don't freak out. Muddling is not a scary thing. That just means like mashing, smushing, grinding. So you can use a kitchen spoon, whatever you use to stir your last cocktail with. You can use the back of it to press the sugar. I have the benefit of having a very serious looking tool here. This is just a cocktail muddler. Just be careful when you're doing this that you don't break the glass. If you think that the sugar is not dissolving, like you can add a little more bitters. We're just going to be adding bourbon immediately over the top of it, so it'll dissolve a little bit more. Just go ahead and break up the crystals. It doesn't need to be perfect. We're not making soup here. Just enough to kind of break that up. Okay, super simple. Muddling, the mystery of muddling is gone. When a bartender rolls their eyes because you order a cocktail that involves muddling, don't let them do that to you. Order what you want. Because I'm a former eye roller, so I know it's really not that hard. So be confident when you order drinks and orders. All right. So again, we're going to want to measure because this is a very specific cocktail. You can't really hide behind a juice. You can't hide behind a mixer. So you want to make sure you have the right amount. So I haven't added ice yet. I'm going to do that last, just as a reminder. So we're going to do 2 ounces, maybe 2.5, because again, this is a celebration. Why not? I'm just going to kick it up a notch. Now you again can put whatever proportion you like in. These are just my suggestions. So we've got our sugar, we've added our bitters, we've got our booze. So now we need to add our ice. So again, like kitchen ice is totally fine. I have fancy cocktail ice, but that's totally fine. Now what would be super, super cool is if I had that big rock I was talking about earlier, which I don't, but I just have these little guys. These are still pretty good. We're gonna stir. Again, if you don't have a giant crazy looking bar spoon, you could use anything, a chopstick, a straw, your finger. Again, going back to the finger, whatever you like. So we're gonna go ahead and stir. It's gonna be loud for a second. Basically all you're doing is just agitating the sugar at the bottom, diluting the bourbon. So that was not a pretty sound, but I promise it's a pretty cocktail. Okay, so my glass is not totally smooth on the inside. That's why the back of the spoon was hitting a little bit, but you should be totally fine. All right, so now we're to the garnish part. The garnish is very important, especially on a very basic cocktail. Again, not much to hide behind. So my orange is one of those oranges that has mixed texture. So you get like the really smooth part. You want to avoid that. You want the stuff that feels a little bit thicker and a little more dimpled. That way you can get a much thicker peel. You don't need a fancy bar peeler for this. Just use a vegetable peeler. Just if you're using a knife, please watch your fingers. Number one bar injury is peeling something and catching your finger. No one, knock on wood, no one's gonna hurt themselves. So I've got probably, you know, the length of my finger, not so much. It doesn't need to be enormous. If you want to get a little creative, be a little cocktail artist, you can cut shapes out, stick those on the rim of your glass. I don't know if anybody's feeling that inventive right now, but please do you. So this seems like common sense, but the inside that has the white, the pith, that's the point that you want facing you. So you're gonna hold it with your fingers over the top. You're just gonna squeeze the peel. And with the first thing you're gonna see, it's hard to see in this light, just translate on video, the heavy oils, the things that are falling out first. Those are the oils from the rind that are more bitter. So you want those to land first and evaporate quicker. And the stuff that's left over that you get like on your fingers that's left on the rind, the sweeter, lighter oils. Sometimes you go into a cocktail bar and you see a bartender, you think they're trying to be fancy, they're doing this move. That has a point. So that when you go to lift your glass, that's the first thing you smell is that citrus hit right in your face. And then it complements that big swig of sweet whiskey you get. So oftentimes, yeah, bartenders can be a little bit extra, but this has a function to it, I promise. So go ahead and do that. If you want to drop it in your glass, go for it. If you want to chuck it over your shoulder at your neighbor, that's also allowed. There are no rules here. And then that's it. We've made an old fashioned. You're all basically hired as bartenders at the distillery now too, by the way. This is your job interview. So I'm gonna stop the clock. So I would love to see on the big screen, everyone hold up their cocktails so we can cheers together. Jennifer Hillman, I see you. You're on point. Christine Davies, Judy, everyone. Dana, I see you, Dana. Okay. Well, cheers. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be part of this celebration. Emily and the whole group, thanks for having me. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, so good.
Emily, that was incredible.
Oh my God, so fun.
We got an orange with our kit. Thank you very much. So yeah, I did.
Amazing.
My husband just casually threw to me. I was hoping wouldn't smash me in the face, which it didn't. We're very coordinated. That was incredible. Manhattans and old fashions are, the sign of a really good hotel bar. Like that's the cocktail that I would order to be like, I don't know about this bartender. Let's see how they go. How you can't, because like you said, you can't hide. It's all just the pure ingredients. You can't hide behind it. So.
Oh yeah. If you want to test the steel of a bartender human, get a cocktail that if you don't produce it perfectly, you're in trouble. But also something that's really simple, or seems to be simple, but actually is really well balanced. And if you're home bartending, just go with fresh juices, high quality whiskeys made by women. Again, check out our website. But yeah.
Awesome. You guys are my neighbors. I'm up in Northeast too, so I really hope.
Oh, you could have been sitting here this whole time drinking these drinks. I'm just going to dump them out.
That's true.
Next time.
I encourage everybody to come visit you. Thank you, Emily, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Vanessa Ciara and Aaron Ennis are up.
We good to go? Okay. Hi, I'm Vanessa Ciara. I'm really excited to announce the next award because I think it really speaks to the heart of WIIT. One of the things I love about WIIT is how it allows those of us who spent our careers in international trade to work with and promote younger women who are making their mark in this field. And that is really the purpose of this next award, to recognize up-and-coming trade professionals who deserve to be applauded for their work and their dedication to WIIT and its programs. I'm delighted to be presenting one of our Emerging Leader Awards tonight to Kim Yeager. Kim is currently a Senior Director Okay. Kim is currently a senior director at the U.S. ASEAN Business Council, where she plays a number of roles, leading the council's 5 Southeast Asian country teams, as well as working on energy and ICT portfolios. She's also committed to bringing important new voices to the table. She has grown the council's relationship with the State Department's Young Southeast Leaders Initiative, and she served as a U.S. delegate to the inaugural ASEAN Young Leaders Summit in 2015. For WIIT this year, she served as co-vice president of the WIIT Special Events Program. Along with her co-VP, she managed to put on wonderful creative events under which we can all agree were the most difficult of circumstances. These events provide a means for all of us to connect, to celebrate, and to keep our community together and thriving during a most difficult year. Winners of this award have made us proud over the years, establishing a legacy of giving back to their peers and mentoring new members of our community. We look forward to watching Kim follow in these footsteps. Kim, congratulations on this award as one of our WIIT 2021 Emerging Leaders.
Hello, I'm Ted Osius, and I wanted to send a very warm, hearty congratulations to Kim Yeager on winning the Emerging Leader Award at WIIT. We're really lucky at the U.S. ASEAN Business Council to benefit from Kim's talent and her energy and her strong relationships across the region, and thrilled that she's the recipient of this award. Thank you.
Kim, I'm so very proud of you for winning this award. It's very much deserved. It's been an honor and a pleasure to watch you grow over these few years, both as your friend, your colleague, and your coworker. I can't think of anyone who deserves this more than you. Congratulations.
Hello, I'm Servini Ali, Brunei Ambassador to the United States. Today, I join you all in honoring Kim Yeager for her achievement and excellent leadership. She deserves these leadership awards for her enormous contributions and dedication to her works. She has set example for the others to follow. Kim, my colleagues and I wish you congratulations for your achievement. Well done.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, WIIT. This is such an honor. It has been a great opportunity being a part of WIIT, particularly supporting special events for the past year and getting to work with such an incredible group of women. I'm especially appreciative of the opportunity to work with my co-VP and co-honoree, China. And being a part of WIIT has been a really positive experience. And I'm grateful to be part of a community of women leaders with such expertise in the field. Especially inspiring have been the other honorees tonight. I'm really proud to be a part of an organization that supports and empowers female leaders. So thank you, WIIT, for believing in me. And thank you. I look forward to continuing to work with WIIT to come. Thanks, everyone.
Great. Congratulations, Kim. I have the pleasure of introducing the second winner of the Emerging Leader Award, China Hawes. I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with China since 2018 when she came to the U.S.-China Business Council after over 6 years of working in China. From the moment she started working with our team at USCBC, China distinguished herself as a knowledgeable, member-focused staff member and a problem solver. In short, she was the perfect fit for the kind of work that a trade association does on a day-to-day basis. But she had an additional quality that distinguishes her in what she does, both professionally and personally. She's always thinking several steps ahead and considering what needs to be done, not just to achieve an immediate goal, but the ones that might require some additional time to cultivate. In her work with WIIT, China has teamed up with Kim to ensure that WIIT thrived during all of our online lives over the past 18 months, leveraging their professional relationships to enhance the special events that we held over the past year. This is largely behind the scenes work, and it is work that China has done that underscores something else that distinguishes her. She's willing to do the work that's necessary for the larger community and to allow it to thrive even in unusual circumstances. In short, China is a leader every day by being an example of how to do it right. It's not just about being successful on your own. It's also about bringing as many people along with you as you can. Let's hear from some others who have also worked with China.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Jake Parker. I worked with China for a number of years at the U.S.-China Business Council. I'm thrilled to offer a few thoughts on her tremendous performance in the years that I've known her. And I'm very pleased to be speaking on her and congratulate her tonight for being the recipient of WIIT's 2021 Emerging Global Leader Award. First of all, China has an incredible initiative. Beginning in 2019, U.S. CBC had fairly limited engagement with Capitol Hill. China was a critical component in changing that. Within 6 months from zero, she had worked to assemble an expansive 100-bill list of legislation related to the People's Republic of China. She developed a network of Hill staffers that were a reliable source of quality information for the organization's member companies, and she worked collaboratively to offer weekly briefings with offices on both sides of the aisle. At a time when Congress is playing an increasingly important role in the developments of the bilateral relationship, China worked on the forefront to improve the insights of the organizations and its members with the legislation and the work that was being done on Capitol Hill. China is also incredibly reliable. She's the type of colleague that if you ask to do something, she gets it done. Long hours, multiple tasks, deadline orientation is baked into her DNA. Finally, I wanted to take a few moments to offer comments on her contributions as a leader. During China's time at the U.S.-China Business Council, she frequently stepped up to mentor younger colleagues, and she did it with tremendous poise and support for those who were new to the organization. So once again, congratulations, China, on this tremendous achievement, and wish you the very best.
What an absolute privilege to be able to honor China Hawes tonight. I'm proud and privileged, not only because China is a great friend, colleague, and a counterpart, but one I've been lucky enough to have the privilege to work with over the last couple of years, particularly in her role at the U.S.-China Business Council. China is amazing. What I love about working with her is that she's incredibly insightful, eager to learn, and brings a lot to the table. Every conversation that we've ever had has ended up in that very pragmatic, what are we going to go do about it space? And you don't see that in a lot of young leaders. I think being able to sort of take in information, process it, but turn it around into a really actionable series of next steps is unique, and China really embodies that. I also truly value her incredible level of creativity. Not just in many of the issues that we've worked on that have required really creative solutions, especially as things go on in the U.S.-China relationship these days, but particularly in the WIIT special events category. And that's really hard to do. How do you take an incredible group like we have, bring everybody together in a way where everyone feels welcome and appreciated? And that's what it feels like every time I talk to China. I know she is going to continue to do amazing things in the world, but I'm glad that we get a chance to celebrate everything that she's done so far. And I look forward to all of us being a part of China's next steps and growth and opportunities, as she is a leader within our women in international trade community. Congratulations, China.
Congratulations, China, on this very well-deserved award. Thank you to the WIIT for this opportunity to sing China's praises today. My name is Lee Waddell. I am the COO of the newly formed Edelman Global Advisory. When we thought about what our dream team would be for this new venture, China was at the absolute top of our list. I had the opportunity to work with her for years when she was at the U.S.-China Business Council, and she was always so thoughtful and responsive to us as members. She just stood out. She stood out as that rare person who is both easygoing and hardworking. You not only want to work with people that you like, but to have a really competent team member like her is just a dream come true for us. We are a very close-knit group of women. We've worked together for 20 years, and in a matter of just 3 weeks, she has managed to fit in like a glove. No easy feat, and it just has been seamless to the point where I don't think we really know what we did without her before this. She has also proven to be a true professional. She's on top of all of our client issues after just knowing them for 3 weeks. She anticipates needs. She stays ahead of the curve. And she has, most importantly, the ability to sort out all of the noise around China analysis and find out what truly matters and what we should all pay attention to and focus on. She is absolutely a rising star in this field, in the trade field, and we are so happy her star is arising in our firm. Thank you very much, and congratulations, China. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anna Ashton, the Vice President of Government Affairs at the U.S.-China Business Council, and it's a pleasure to be invited to speak tonight about my friend and former colleague, the outgoing but understated, relaxed but always professional China Hawes. I can think of no one more deserving of recognition as an emerging leader. This is a woman with enormous versatility and consummate professionalism. She's innovative and a creative problem solver. She's someone who never fails to rise to a challenge. And when a situation is all hands on deck, China is always there, pitching in on tasks big and small. China is really already a leader in my mind, not an emerging one. Even as I sit here and list off all of these impressive facts about her, I really have to say that the best part about her is none of those things. It's not that she's impressive, though obviously she is, but she's a fine human being. She's kind, she's patient, she's generous with her time, she's invested in those around her, and she's fun, even on the busiest, most stressful days. The skills and expertise and experience certainly contribute to China's leadership qualities, but it's who she is, not simply what she's done, that I think makes her exceptional. There are few people I've ever enjoyed working with as much as I enjoyed working with China, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where her career takes her. I know that she's going to make a positive impact wherever she goes, and I hope everyone here gets to know her and work with her along the way.
Hey there, Ruben Durant from Merck. What can I say about China that probably hasn't already been said? Seriously, what a rock star. You took so much great responsibility and care in advocating for the biopharma industry during the most fraught time of US-China relations in recent memory. Not only that, you pivoted to the hardest job in Washington, explaining China to Congress, in a place where there's a lot of opinions, but very, very little knowledge. Thank you so much for your hard work. I can't wait to see you in whatever you do next. Jayo, jayo, jayo. Thank you so much.
Wow, I'm speechless. I'm so honored and humbled by all those kind words, and I'm thrilled to be recognized as an emerging leader by this community, especially alongside Kim Yeager, who I have so much admiration for. I recently, had a procedure on my throat, so please bear with me. So I moved back to DC in 2018 from years in China, as Erin mentioned, and I was very lucky to have landed a job at US-China Business Council, where I had the privilege of working alongside amazing female leaders like Erin and Anna, as well as some really supportive male leaders as well. Jake, I appreciate your words. I also had some time and opportunity to get to know other female leaders through the member companies, especially those I got to work with and that I now get to work with at Edelman Global Advisory. So it's been an amazing experience. But when I first moved back to DC, I didn't know anybody, and I really didn't have too much of a trade background. And Erin, I don't know if you remember this, but you gave me some of the best advice ever. You said, join WIIT and work on your girl gang. And I got straight to it. The next day I went to the holiday auction event at the New Zealand Embassy, and I met Lisa, and of course that sealed the deal. And I never would have thought in a million years at that time I would have actually had the opportunity to pull together a holiday auction event. And it was virtual last year, but it was so much fun working with the WIIT team and the RMK team, who are awesome behind the scenes, female group too. And this year is going to be awesome as well, so stay tuned, everybody. Quick shout out. But a highlight has really been getting to know and work with Kim Yeager, who I have so much admiration for. She's an amazing team player, always picks up everything if you're out for whatever reason. And just in case you didn't know Kim, you're definitely part of my girl gang. I'm just incredibly thankful for the opportunity to be involved in the WIIT community, and I found so much benefit personally and professionally. This platform has really been instrumental in terms of meeting amazing people. Every single one of these people in the community is amazing, but also in terms of building knowledge about trade and confidence and to talk about it in front of groups. And it's definitely helped me advance my career. Most of all, WIIT has impressed upon me the importance of paying it forward and holding each other up. And all of those coffee dates, those Zoom chats about trade issues, China issues, or professional development issues, each one has had enormous impact and it's been very valuable. And I appreciate it all. And I try to mirror this. I will try to mirror this in all of my engagements going forward. So thank you so much. I really am so honored and humbled by the opportunity, and congratulations to all the other awardees. Big shoes to fill. Thank you, Emily. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Kim and China, and congratulations. And I didn't get a chance to mention, but that was Vanessa Ciara, who's the WIIT president-elect and my partner in crime. But by day, Vanessa is the vice president for trade and international competitiveness at the American Clean Power Association. And she was followed by Erin Ennis, who's the senior director of global public policy at Dell Technologies and also a WIIT board member. I'm going to list for you some jobs that exist in the trade space. Commissioner at the U.S. International Trade Commission, partner of the law firm Cassidy Levy Kent, senior fellow for the German Marshall Fund, USTR ambassador, chief textiles negotiator, a member of the WTO's appellate body, legislative director for a U.S. senator, general counsel at USTR, trade professor at Georgetown University, writer, speaker, researcher at the Council on Foreign Relations, special envoy to the Sultanate of Oman. This is like a wish list of jobs and opportunities for young trade professionals, particularly a trade lawyer. One can be considered accomplished and quite pleased with themselves if they did one or two of those jobs. And Jennifer Hillman has held and excelled at all of those jobs. I couldn't even start listing her publications because we would be here until next week and the Zoom link expires at 7:30. So it's instead my incredible privilege to know her, and many of us here tonight and elsewhere are better at our jobs for listening to her considered views and analysis on trade. I'm honored to introduce Jennifer Hillman, the winner of WIT's Lifetime Achievement Award. But first, a few other distinguished people in their own right in the trade space would like to share their thoughts on Jennifer.
Hey there, Jennifer. It's so great to be joining others in congratulating you. I can't think of anybody more deserving of a Lifetime Achievement Award in the world of trade. Just the immense contribution you've made as a lawyer, as a negotiator, as a teacher. I was lucky enough to be your colleague in at least two of those incarnations in your career at USTR and at the WTO. I'll always remember that frenetic 2 weeks we had closing the Uruguay round out together, that all-nighter we pulled in the Director General's office, and so many other great anecdotes. And most of all, just your great friendship, your support of me, your encouragement. I look forward to many more opportunities for you and me to see each other and to work together. And congratulations for this wonderful award.
Hello to the members and guests of the Women in International Trade. What a great choice on your part to honor Jennifer Hillman for her lifetime of accomplishments in international trade policy. Jennifer and I have spent many years crossing paths in our professional lives, first in the Senate, then at USTR when I left and she stayed as textile negotiator, and then again at the International Trade Commission. Jennifer often says that I misled her into coming to the commission, promising her an easy life that would let her balance work and her family. But once she arrived in August of 1998, we found ourselves facing the Uruguay round mandate of reviewing all the anti-dumping and countervailing duty orders on the books in the United States. That would be 317 reviews in 3 years' time. I can't imagine how we could have done it without Jennifer. I can't imagine how I could have done it without Jennifer. Those watching who've worked with Jennifer know well how smart she is, how hard she works, how hard it is to keep up with her, and how she challenges all of us to be better as a result. So I consider it my good fortune to have worked with her, particularly at the ITC, where I loved having her down the hall every day. You might think that means I think of Jennifer first like this. But actually, I think of her first like this. I know that being an accomplished mother is just as important to Jennifer as her professional life. This shot is from her son Benjamin's fire truck birthday party, age 4, I believe. Jennifer, I have the whole video to share with you. So congratulations on your lifetime of achievements, professionally and personally, and cheers.
Jennifer, congratulations on this award, a lifetime achievement one at that. I really can't think of anyone more deserving of this award given your dedication and your accomplishments nationally and internationally in a rules-based trading system. I vividly remember when we first met. I was just a baby lawyer in private practice and you joined our team for high-stakes litigation, and even though I knew absolutely nothing, you listened to my views, internalized them, and somehow gave them credence. When you joined Cassie Levy-Kent as a partner, I remember sitting in your office just to be a sponge and learn everything I could from you. I learned how to litigate like Jennifer Hillman would, with binders upon binders of case law that was tabbed as we walked to the Federal Circuit. I learned how to think like a trade lawyer. I learned how to think like a trade negotiator. I learned how to work hard and to try to figure out ways to solve complex problems with a lot of different and divergent views. I so appreciate your mentorship and your friendship. And as I reflect upon my experience with you, I'm not surprised you're getting this honor. You certainly have been a mentor and a friend to so many others. Thank you and congratulations again.
Hello, you are listening to an episode of Trade Talks, a podcast about the economics of trade policy. I'm Samaya Keynes, the Britain economics editor for The Economist.
And I'm Chad Bown, a senior fellow with the Peterson Institute for International Economics.
This is an episode about Jennifer Hillman.
This is a Lifetime Achievement Award for all of the incredible work Jennifer has done in the field of international trade over her amazing career. Jennifer's most recent trade job was as a member of the WTO's appellate body.
No, don't mention that. The appellate body it's not really a thing anymore. I think something about zeroing, judicial overreach. Look, Jennifer was a commissioner making injury determinations in import protection cases at the US International Trade Commission.
Yeah, well, actually, we don't even need the International Trade Commission, the ITC anymore. Here in America, you just say imports are a threat to national security, and that's totally fine. I got it. How's this? Jennifer was the general counsel, so the top lawyer in the U.S. Trade Representative's office. Yeah, you're right. Scrap that. Now that the Biden administration is running things, it turns out USTR doesn't actually do trade or trade law anymore. All they care about are workers and Mexico's labor standards.
Well, okay then. That is all for Trade Talks. A huge thanks to Jennifer Hillman, winner of Women in International Trade's Lifetime Achievement Award for Trade.
Even if it turns out none of the places Jennifer ever actually worked does trade anymore. That's not one but two underscores, at trade _ talks.
Hi, Jennifer. It's your friend Rob Portman. I want to congratulate you on being awarded with the Women in International Trade Lifetime Achievement Award. Wow, it's a well-deserved honor. Working with you back in the 1980s, when we were both young trade lawyers at Patton Boggs, I knew right away you had a passion for international trade law and were destined to make a big impact in the field of trade policy for decades to come. I was right. From your leadership at USTR to your work at the ITC and the WTO appellate body, you played a significant role in helping to shape global trade policy as a champion for rules-based trade, while also blazing new trails for women to be leaders in this field. I'm proud of all you've accomplished with your Midwestern work ethic, optimistic approach, and your trade smarts. Congrats on this special award. And thanks again for your great service to our country.
Well, a huge, huge thank you. I am going to confess that this is a particularly difficult year when I can really use the huge pick-me-up that comes from receiving this wonderful award, in part because it reminds me of all the giants in this field on whose shoulders I'm standing, and of all of the energy that I can draw from them and from you. So I'm going to toast really to all of you with my huge, great thanks. I'll confess, getting something titled Lifetime Achievement certainly prompted many wonderful reflections on the amazing people that I've met across this career. You know, I came out of law school at a time when there were still many in the professional world who had a hard time accepting women as lawyers, with resistance both subtle and overt. So I joined a number of women colleagues struggling to make our voices heard. But I had the chance early on to work for one of my heroes, a man named Terry Sanford, who had been the president of Duke University when I was a student there and had been a path-breaking governor in North Carolina in the early 1960s. But for me, was someone that had a really rare gift, particularly for a man born in 1917 and raised in the South. And it was the gift to really hear whoever was speaking, regardless of sex or race or anything else that would get in the way of understanding a concern or taking on board a good idea, no matter where it came from. And then I went on to USTR, where Mickey Cantor placed so much trust in my ability to complete more than 40 textile agreements in less than 40 weeks, despite my complete lack of either negotiating experience or knowledge of how textile quotas really worked. But I could rely on the help and inspiration of so many around me, including the small but mighty USTR Textiles Office and USTR leaders, and I'll cite particularly Charlene Barshevsky. I often decided, in fact, to take an all-woman team to negotiate a number of our textile agreements, and I was really thrilled to see how often that, on the one hand, put our counterparts sort of off their game and gave great strength to the United States and to me as our negotiator. And when my wonderful husband and I decided that the time was right for children, it was my women friends, particularly Marcia Miller, who helped me find my way to the ITC, where the work was every bit as interesting and demanding as everything I had just come from at USTR, but the independence of the agency and being in a position that stopped all ex parte contacts was a big help, especially, I would say, in balancing the demands of work and family. And it was at the International Trade Commission that I had the benefit of serving with 7 different amazing, talented women colleagues. I so vividly recall hearing after hearing where you would look out at this phalanx of all male CEOs and mostly male lawyers being grilled by a commission with 5 women out of 6 commissioners, and really marveling at how far we've come. And yes, there were disappointments too. You heard it from Chad and Sumaya. When my reappointment to the WTO was blocked based on concerns over opinions that I wasn't a part of or other things out of my control, I tried to hold my head up and keep moving forward. And so tonight, you have given me reason to come back to one of the places I started in trade, in Geneva, at the closing ceremony for the just finished Uruguay round of negotiations, where, as Rufus just told you, most of us had been up all night long trying to get a final deal. Sitting next to a then yawning US Ambassador Rufus Yerxa, invoking Disney's "It's a Small World After All," and thinking how true that felt then, but what a challenge it may be to keep that sentiment alive now. Tonight is a huge and wonderful celebration, but also, as Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy said, a call to action. And for me, I'll hope that many out there add sort of the multilateral trading rules-based system to the list of what needs our support, our commitment, and our smarts. But I'm going to take a lot of hope from this, because I can say with confidence that I am so inspired by and am drawing so much energy from all of the up and coming, brilliant, dynamic women and men who have found their way into this delightful international trade community. So I'm going to just hold this up and say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so, so much for this really lovely, lovely award. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, and congratulations again. Such incredible, incredible words. Thank you so much for your contributions, and award well deserved. Well, everyone, what an incredible evening. These women individually and collectively are an incredible role model for young women who are just starting their careers in trade, but also to all of us as we move through our career in the trade space. I personally am just now coming up on being 9 months pregnant with a daughter, and I am confident that she absorbed all of the amazing words conveyed here tonight. China, Kim, Brenda, Rosa, Jennifer, and Representative Murphy reflect the wide variety of jobs and career paths available to women in trade. I sincerely hope that you all watching and listening were as inspired as I am. Maybe this influences you when you consider your next step in your career, or if you're looking for a mentor, or how best to be a mentor to someone else. I'd like to extend my profound and special thanks to the WIIT board for their support, our WIIT leadership that performs all of the hard work in keeping the organization running at such a high level, in particular, Kim and China of the Special Events Committee. Huge thank you to RMK Productions, who is the foundation upon which our organization thrives. Thank you to our partners at Republic Restoratives, to Emily for making us all smart on delicious cocktails and mocktails. Thank you to the winners for being you, for being such positive role models to everyone here tonight. WIIT has a robust calendar of events for the remainder of October and the remainder of the year. Please check back early and often at WIIT.org or at WIIT_DC, or subscribe to the WIIT Weekly. Look out for announcements soon about the WIIT Holiday Party and the WIIT Trust Auction in December. Details will be announced soon. Thank you all for participating tonight. Congratulations again to our winners. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night.